A team has so many close games, few plays. I don't believe I've ever had a season quite like this. And, you know, I don't know what else to say about that one. As far as Arkansas State, short week, but good week. This is a good football team. They're 24-5 in their last 29 Sun Belt Conference games. That's pretty impressive. And they've been co-champions, I think, 3 years in a row. That got jolted a little bit last week, maybe with the Appalachian State game for this year. But I know they've had their share of injuries and things to work through, and it sounds like we're always a good remedy for people to get healthy, and I think they get some of them back this week. They've scored, prior to last week, they scored 40 points 4 weeks in a row, and last week they were off their game a little bit. They only got 32. So they were good on offense, good solid defensive team. Went to Lafayette and played them very well there. So we know we got our hands full this week.
Coach, can you take us through that last play, the game decider?
We had a kind of a motion rub pick, whatever you want to call it. We did it legally, I hope so, rub play. And a guy that was not in charge of Brandon, I don't think, came off and picked him up. The guy that was in charge of him got lost in the shuffle, which was what we'd hoped for. And then we had two other crossers, and they got caught in all the officials and bodies, and we just ran out of time on, being able to get somebody open to hit.
Was Brad the number one option?
Excuse me?
Was Brad the number one option?
Number two. Brandon was number one. Brad was number two.
After a 12-point loss on the road, is it preferable that you have a short week to get that game out of your mind? Is that preferable to a normal week of preparation?
Well, I don't know if it's preferable, but you have no choice but to get ready. So, you get home and get in bed at 3:30 on Saturday night, and you're back up here at 8 Sunday morning because you've got a short week to get on a game plan. So you don't have time to spend much time thinking about the last one, other than I watched the game tape on the airplane ride home. But you got to move on pretty quick.
How does it change in preparation? I mean, I know it's a shorter week, but how do you structure the week with only having 2 less days to practice?
Well, normally Sunday we would practice and watch the film with the guys. We had them come over and lift and watch the film on their own, and then I met with them for about 15 minutes to talk about the week, and then they went back in and watched Arkansas State film. We didn't work out, other than Coach Cundiff might have jogged them a little bit. We did practice yesterday, which is not normal for us. Monday is our day off in our lab days, and so we did not get on the field till 9 o'clock last night because of all the class issues. But from a coach's standpoint, that gave us all day Sunday and Monday to work on a game plan, so that was good. We did not practice in pads yesterday, and probably won't practice in pads all week just because of the short week and bodies needing to get over the soreness and things like that. Today will be kind of a normal Tuesday, but yet it'll be more like a Wednesday practice, and then tomorrow will be a little bit more like a Thursday practice. So we kind of adjusted the week to keep it as normal as possible.
Is there more of a sense of urgency with these last games?
There is, sure. Every game's critical now. I think you reach, you play yourself into a position, and fortunately for us, we played ourselves into a position, and now they're all critical games from here on out. I mean, that's just the way it is, and that's the way you want it. You want to get to that position, and we just got to find a way now.
How do you describe your defense this year? Have you been disappointed at all, or how do you describe it?
Oh, I think you know, we went into the year with some inexperience. We've had some up and down days. We've had some good days. We've gotten very consistent play from David Mayo and from Craig Mager and David Mims and Mike Odiari. We've got some nice surprises with Trey McGovern and McGowan. I mean, I always get that mixed up. And of course, we lost Mike Arakpo. That hurt early in the year, but Trey stepped in and done pretty well. We've hung in there pretty good. We've been kind of a defense that's bent, giving up some yards, but made some stops in the red zone, found ways to get off the field. You know, we played well enough Saturday night to win defensively. We just didn't take advantage of our turnovers and play well enough offensively probably to win.
Is that almost the best defensive play?
Last 2 weeks have been pretty solid.
Yeah.
You know, we played pretty well against Georgia Southern, held them to 28, really 21 because one was an interception, and then 24 this last week. And you know, unusual game. You go +4 in the turnover takeaway margins. Saturday night, lose the game. That hadn't happened very much for us.
With having Coach Goodell and Coach Thompson on the staff, with them having prior experience at Arkansas State, does that benefit you this season in preparing for this team?
You know, and the thing it does is John spent some time telling the offensive guys about the defensive players, and Brad spent time telling the defensive guys about the offensive guys. So we probably have a little more insight into personnel than you would in a normal week, possibly. That's the biggest thing you gain from some of those things. I'm sure some of them have changed in a year, too.
Your David Mayo season seemed pretty spectacular. Been as good as numbers suggest.
Yeah, it's been very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's played well. David has been, he has been a rock since the first day he came in his program. He's probably the best leader on our football team, the most stable thinker on our football team. He probably has as much fun playing football as anybody. You know, he focuses on just playing the game. I know last week I said something to him about, you know, the implications of the game last week, and he hadn't given it much thought. He was worried about, you know, getting his assignments down to play against them, and that was good. You know, David has been a real blessing to this program since I've been here, from every aspect, academically, athletically, socially, leadership-wise. You know, when you lose Mike Arakpo, you lose a good player, but you also lose a locker room presence, and so other people have to tighten their belt. I think David's done that for us. He's not an extremely vocal guy, but when he speaks, everybody listens, so he's very effective. I haven't had many linebackers in my coaching career that have made as many tackles in games as this one has. A guy named Urlacher made quite a few one time, and
Did he get over 100 for you earlier?
I don't remember. That's been too long. You know, he should have.
Was he the best one you ever coached?
Urlacher? He's pretty good. Yeah, he's probably the best one.
Yeah. Same qualities.
A lot the same. Brian was maybe a little bit taller, but yeah, a lot of the same qualities.
David good enough to play on Sundays?
I think so. The scouts have been real interested in him, and you know, we've had all the teams in to watch practice, and they've. I think each team has their own thoughts on him. You know, how well he fits into their defense, which they should. But yeah, a lot of positive comments about him.
His 40 times on the rate, does that make maybe for some teams it does, and other teams it doesn't?
I think that always matters in that league. You know, you play against the best. You got to be able to run. But David's not slow. He can run.
And he seems to always get there.
He's got good instincts, and he knows where the ball is, and he does a good job of finding it and making plays. I think Coach Thompson's defense has suited him really well. I would think he'd say that, but I think JT's used him nicely and maybe helped David raise his game a level. I think David, his work ethic has probably helped him too.
You gotta kick him out of here after practice?
Oh, I don't know if I have to do that, but I think David is pretty focused, and he had a great summer. He had a great August camp. Since last January, when you kind of start your 14 campaign, when you come back for second semester, he's done all the right things, work ethic-wise, leadership-wise. Probably spent more time than maybe ever before working out and studying tape and things like that.
If there's one thing that kept him out of the next level, would it be speed or would it be size?
That would what? Keep him?
Kept him to the next level. Is there one thing?
I think his speed will be the thing that they'll be interested when they time him in the spring and things like that.
Statistically, Arkansas State ranks among the top half of most statistical categories. Is there any weaknesses that you think you can exploit in them, or they're just a flawless team close to?
They're a pretty solid team. You don't put the film on and say, well, this is weak or that's weak. You have to grind pretty hard to find any of those kind of things.
What is the senior class meant to the school, given that they've been here through the transition from FCS to FBS, a lot of them?
Well, I think first off, when you talk about the seniors, you got to go back, and I think I counted the other night, there are 6 guys who were here when I got here. Drew Hamilton, David Lewis, Colin Fissel, Charlie Tuttle, Craig Mager. I'm missing one in there somewhere. Those guys have seen a lot and been through a lot, and they've been, if they had their on the field performances, it maybe has not been as impactful in every case as you want it to, but in some cases it has. But they became Coach Fran's players real quickly, or our staff's players real quickly, and made the transition and adjustment, and have been good, solid guys to build around. I think one of the saddest things that ever happens at the end of the year for me as a coach is, in about 10 days, this team, unless it gets a postseason game, that it kind of dissolves. And you've been together for almost, a long time, but for this year, since January, striving together for a common goal, and you create some real feelings and bonds together. And there's always guys, as a coach, you're sad to see them all go. I think they're always, just can't feel the same about every player, obviously, but there's always a few that, I don't want David Mayo to leave, and there's always a few like that, but we're not the NFL. We're college football, and that happens, and so you deal with it, and you move on. And as coaches, we're always thinking 7 days, 7 weeks, or 7 months away, so we're always looking forward to the next challenge, and so you move on to the next guys, but you never forget the guys that, especially like those 6 guys, you never forget the guys that have given so much to what you've tried to do here and the kind of people they've been in this program.
How do you go from coming up just short, you play 2 short, 2-3 weeks to get over the front? How do you take that next step?
Well, I think we just have to continue to work the process, John. I think if you sit and realistically look at things. My first year here, we were an FCS program. coming out of FCS, there really weren't anything. My second year here, we certainly hadn't, we were going to be in the WAC, but we certainly hadn't established really a Division I profile yet, and the stadium was just getting completed. And my third year here, we get bowl eligible, which is our second year in FBS, so that was a pretty good accomplishment. And we got a chance to do that again this year. So I think the biggest thing is that the painful part of it is the process takes time. I'm a part of the microwave society too. God, give me patience and give it to me right now. But I knew when this started that it would be a process, and so you keep working that process. You keep building talent level, and you keep building depth, and we lose. I give you a great example. When I got here, I think we had 6 offensive linemen on scholarship. 4 of them were seniors. One immediately got a concussion and couldn't play football anymore. 2 of them were walk-ons, really, that were put on minor aid. It's taken a long time to rebuild this offensive line, and last year we went through the growing pains of starting redshirt freshmen basically in 2 or 3 spots. But now next year, we lose Charlie and Colin, and but we have some really nice-looking guys as redshirt freshmen, Will Copa and some other guys, Tristan Mizrek and Keon Schornborn and people, and we've got all but 2 of them back that have played in a lot in the 2 deep. So, that process is headed in the right direction and going well. Just been a little more time consuming than we'd like for it to be.
Coach, when you look at the teams that are ahead of you in the Sun Belt with pretty good records, do you feel like you guys have to win out to become bowl eligible?
I don't know,
Not
John.
bowl eligible, that's 6, but do you think you need to win out?
To get a bowl?
Yeah.
Well, I would think 7 would get us one. We all know that 6 didn't last year, but last year there were 78 bowl eligible teams, of which we were 1, and 70 got spots because there were 35 bowls. This year there are, I believe, 38 bowls, so 76 teams have a shot. So I think obviously the numbers are better for us, but I don't have a lot of time to spend on that. I'm spending my time trying to get this team ready to play Arkansas State right now, and we'll have Friday to work on recruiting. I'll have some time to organize thoughts a little bit better maybe on Friday, but start looking ahead to Georgia State.
What would the bowl mean to the process?
Well, I think it'd be a tremendous boost. The fact that you get, number one, you get the extra practice, and I think the Bobcat Nation would respond very well to the opportunity to go to postseason. And I really, in my heart, would love for this group of guys to get that opportunity for the way they've gone through this season and handled it. I think, you get what you deserve. I'd like to think this team can get to the point where they deserve a chance to go in the other people's eyes, which matter the most, but they certainly do in mine. And then there's the recruiting things. It can give you a little boost to that process.